Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, YouTube, I present evidence. Bill Belichick can laugh. The Jaguars are the first joke Belichick's ever laughed at, and Mac Jones might be the first QB Bills ever loved.
Happy.
Welcome to That's Good Sports. I'm Brandon Perna. On one hand, the Browns being eliminated from the playoffs before we even get to the final week of the season, well, that gives me hope that the world will go back to normal.
Fucking angry son of a bitch! I'm fucking tired of fucking losing!
On the other hand, seeing Bill Belichick laughing scares me more than if I were standing on the Chiefs' sideline next to the guy who can literally fart through a thick jacket. It was Elimination Sunday for teams that still thought they had a chance but did not. The Browns, the Broncos, Dolphins, Falcons, Vikings, and football team all axed from the playoffs. Oh yeah, and Antonio Brown was left in New York City while the Bucs flew home without him because he took off all his clothes and walked off the field in the middle of the game. I already elaborated on that situation in this video, so you can check that out if you want after today's episode of Best and Worst NFL Week 17 edition. That's good sports. Hey, have you subscribed to this YouTube channel? Please do it, please. Today's episode is sponsored by shakerandspoon.com/thatsgoodsports. Shaker and Spoon is a monthly cocktail subscription service that delivers the best, and I mean the best, craft cocktail ingredients and instructions to your door. Every box they offer is themed around one type of liquor with 3 unique recipes to match your liquor of choice. This month, I tried the Tequila It box because I wanted to concoct a tequila drink that wasn't a margarita, and Shaker and Spoon delivered. I made a Verdito, which contained poblano, agave syrup, and celery soda. If you have that lying around the house, you're a liar. Each box contains a variety of syrups, bitters, aromatics, and garnishes that will make your taste buds super pretentious. These drinks are so good, I'll never drink water again. To get a huge $20 off your first box, click the link below and use code That'sGoodSports at checkout, or go to shakerandspoon.com/that'sgoodsports to get truly elite tier drinks to show up right at your door. That's shakerandspoon.com/that'sgoodsports, or just click the link below and use code That'sGoodSports for $20 off your first box. All right, Giants, Bears, worst. Mike Glennon was strip sacked on the very first play. Then Glennon was picked on the second series. The Giants had 2 turnovers on their first 6 plays, setting the tone for this game. Just remember, Giants fans, you're running it back with Joe Judge next year. Maybe Daniel Jones is really good, but the Giants as a whole are just that bad. Best, Robert Quinn, Medicine Man, broke the single season sack record for the Bears. Glad he did it week 17, so it felt real. Passing, Sir Richard Dent. Best, the Giants were the first team since '09 to finish a game with negative passing yards. They had -10 on the day. The Titans did it last in 2009 with -7 against the Patriots. Jags versus Patriots. Best, Trevor Lawrence finally throws a TD. Unfortunately, it happened after the Jags fell behind 50-3. And Lawrence tossed 3 completions to the Patriots. This game highlighted how rookie QB's fates are drastically altered by which team selects them. Mac Jones had 3 touchdowns on the day, went 22 of 30, and despite being born with the athletic DNA of a sloth, left no doubts that he is miles ahead of Trevor Lawrence in every aspect of being a decent NFL quarterback. Worst, the fucking Jaguars. Urban Meyer or not, this team sucks. They got absolutely rocked in every way. Turnovers, time of possession, every kind of yards. Making the Jags play another game in 2021 is why this 17-game season is so cruel. Rams versus Ravens, worst. Picking up where the football team left off, Jalen Ramsey slaps his own teammate Taylor Rapp right in the face mask. Something I'm sure we'll see Tyrann Mathieu do to Dan Sorensen next weekend. Worst kicker, Matt Gay misses right. Never thought we'd see a Gay start on the left and go this far right so quickly. Best, Chuck Clark pick sixes Matt Stafford. Read that throw like a book, making it the 4th time Stafford has thrown a pick six this season. It's rare that you can reach Matt Schaub territory and still be an MVP candidate. Very impressive, Stafford. Worst, Odell fists Chuck Clark right in the arse after Clark picks off another Stafford pass. This is not going to help quell the rumors about Odell. Oh no. 2 Odells, 1 Cooper Kupp. Kupp and OBJ each finished with the touchdown, and Kupp had 95 yards to add to his season total. Best, Cooper Kupp broke Isaac Bruce's single-season receiving record from 1995, and he did it in 16 games, which is legit. Kupp needs 170 yards next week to hit 2,000. Best, Von Miller shut the door on the Ravens with this late sack of Tyler Huntley. This looked like vintage Vaughn, and ironically, it kept the Broncos' playoff hopes alive at the same time. Obviously, the Broncos failed to keep the Broncos' playoff hopes alive. Buccaneers versus Jets. Best, Braxton Berrios keeps it himself on the Philly special to redeem Michael Carter, who fell on his face on a 55-yard run. Best, my childhood friend Brandon Eccles picks off Tom Brady, renewing our age-old love. Eccles actually got Tom Brady to sign the ball after the game. Worst, it is literally someone's job to just find dumb ways to remind us how old Tom Brady is. Let me speak on behalf of everyone. We get it. I challenge just one broadcast crew to call an entire Bucs game without referencing Tom Brady's fucking age. Worst, Antonio Brown loses his marbles and his clothes. The Iron Man award goes to Bruce Arians, who was coaching with a ruptured Achilles. I'm sure he ruptured it trying to kick Antonio Brown off of the plane. Worst, Tom Brady screwed Jets fans for old time's sake, putting together a late touchdown drive to spoil a really nice game by the Jets, who for some reason ran a QB sneak on 4th and 2 against one of the best run defenses in the NFL. That said, playing well and still losing to keep your draft position is basically the ideal scenario for this Jets team. Falcons versus Bills. Best, was Stephon Diggs trying to give the Falcons diarrhea before the game? He gifted a few of them some buffalo wings. Welcome to Buffalo. Here, have some wings that are definitely not laced with laxatives. Signed, Stephon Diggs. Worst, ironically, it was the Bills shitting the bed early on, muffing a punt that would result in a safety in the first quarter. Worst, Matt Ryan was called for taunting after picking up a rushing touchdown that was called back. Maybe the worst use of taunting to date. The entire world has been taunting Matt Ryan and the Falcons ever since 28-3. If anyone deserves carte blanche to taunt, it's Matty Ice. Best, Josh Allen threw 3 picks, but he added 81 rushing yards and a pair of TDs on the ground. Bizarrely, I think this shows how valuable he is. Even when he has a shit game passing, he can still carry the Bills with his legs. More notably, Devin Singletary had 110 rushing yards, making him the first Bills running back to hit 100 this season in a game. Allen, of course, had 109 in Week 14 against the Bucs. Chiefs-Bengals. Oh my God, best. This was the first time since 2013 that there were 4,000-yard receivers playing in the same game. We had Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Travis Kelce, and Tyreek Hill. The last quadfecta was Calvin Johnson, Golden Tate, Jordy Nelson, and Randall Cobb. And Jamar Chase nearly had another 1,000 yards in this game. Best, Chase absolutely cooks Daniel Sorensen. He also cooked the entire Chiefs defense on this 69-yard catch and run. Nice. Chase had the most receiving yards in a game by a rookie wide receiver, and he surpassed Justin Jefferson's season total of 1,400 from 2020, giving him the most yards for a rookie in a season. Worst, all of you fucking idiots who called Jamar Chase a bust in the preseason. And no, I am not going back to check to see if I was one of those idiots. Best, Joe Burrow is the first quarterback ever with 400 plus passing yards, 4 plus TDs, and 0 interceptions in back-to-back games. He might be really good. I don't know. Last week he dropped 525. This week against an improved Chiefs defense, he threw for 446. That's nearly 1,000 yards in 2 games. Best, did I mention Jamar Chase had 266 receiving yards and 3 touchdowns? I might have mentioned this. But that said, this game was really, really, really fun to watch. And the Bengals are the most exciting team right now. Best, after a really bizarre sequence on the goal line to conclude this game, where the Chiefs may or may not have been dicked by the officials, Evan McPherson knocks through a game-winning field goal that clinches the AFC North for the Bengals. The first time they've won their division since 2015. Dolphins versus Titans. Worst, Tua throws it backwards. Whoops. Best, the very underrated Harold Landry picks up his 12th sack on the season. The cherry on top of that sack was Kevin Harlan calling the missed field goal right after.
Sanders has had a couple of blocks. Gets this away, and he hit the crossbar. No!
Tennessee had nearly 200 rushing yards without Derrick Henry. That's right, Donta Foreman blasted Miami's blowholes for $132. Tannehill had a boring 120 passing yards, but found the end zone twice, hitting both tight ends, Harvard alum Anthony Firkser and Jeff Swaim. Best.
Hey!
The Dolphins were eliminated from the postseason and had their 7-game win streak snapped. Best. The Titans have clinched the AFC South and will advance to the playoffs for the 3rd straight season. And they own the #1 spot in the AFC right now. Mike Vrabel's penis is definitely in danger, which bizarrely is a good thing for him. Just like his penis, the coaching job he's done this season is criminally underrated. Yeah, Vrabel's got a nice penis. Raiders versus Colts. Best. Carson Wentz threw the ugliest touchdown pass to T.Y. Hilton. Carson Wentz started the week with COVID and ended it with another ailment, having a horseshoe stuck up his ass. Worst, Wentz tried to throw another horrific interception, and the ball luckily hit the ground. This is the point in the season, though, where he should be giving Indy his best, and he looked horrible in a loss, 148 passing yards, and he started the game like 1 for 8 or 1 for 9. Worst, Derek Carr answers with an ugly pick to Darius Leonard. He wasn't much better in this game, but Darius Leonard, oh, that guy is a ball magnet. Now, if he could just use that magnet to remove the horseshoe from Wentz's arse, maybe Indy can do something in the postseason. Carr threw 2 picks in this game and was essentially lucky Carson Wentz was worse than him. At least Carr's 1 touchdown wasn't an accident. Eagles versus football team. Worst, Ricky Seals-Jones annihilates a Fox cameraman, hurting himself and the cameraman in the process. Just a reminder that videography is also a contact sport. Also, if you need a hug from an NFL player, this shot should do the trick. Worst, I knew Washington was struggling the last 2 weeks, but this is ridiculous.
This is a Washington defense that has been gashed. They've allowed over 11,000 combined yards the last 2 weeks.
11,000 yards? That's nearly double of what a bad team gives up in an entire season. How has nobody noticed this? Best, Jalen Hurts gets stepped on and still gets the pitch out to Boston Scott for the touchdown. That play doesn't show up on the stat sheet for Hurts, but it's a great one. Hurts wasn't perfect, but with just 1 more completion on 1 more attempt, he had 66 more passing yards than old Carson Wentz and 34 more rushing yards. Worst, FedEx Field is literally falling apart before our very eyes. This is what John Gruden died for. Nice of Jalen Hurts to help up those Eagles fans. Nice of Jalen Hurts to help the Eagles clinch the playoffs. This collapse of his stadium is technically a home field advantage. Broncos versus Chargers. Best, Denver kicker Brandon McManus drills a 61-yard field goal before halftime. Worst, this is what Pat Shurmur calls on 4th and goal. Best, the Broncos have been eliminated from playoff contention. Yes, this is a best because it's merciful, like smothering someone with a pillow. The Chargers have been flexed into Sunday primetime as they will play the Raiders for a playoff spot. Texans versus Niners, best. This was a battle between the best rookie QB and also Trey Lance. Yeah, it turns out Trey Lance bested Davis Mills in this one. The number 3 overall pick had 249 passing yards and a couple touchdown passes, including a couple big plays to Brandon Ayuk and Deebo Samuel. Lions versus Seahawks, best. Russell Wilson and Pete Carroll have won 61 home games together, trailing only Tom Brady and Bill Belichick since 2012. And Bill and Tom haven't been together for 2 seasons now. They won the shit out of this one though, the Seahawks, probably for the last time in front of their home crowd. Best. Rashad Penny had a career game, picking up 170 yards and a couple touchdowns on the ground. Penny is going to be an unrestricted free agent this offseason, and he made himself quite a few pennies with this performance. I know it was Detroit, but Wilson had 4 touchdown passes and no turnovers. A great audition to become the Broncos quarterback. Best for the Lions? Amon-Ra St. Brown. He's tearing it up. Cardinals versus Cowboys. Best? This absurd catch on a fake punt by Jonathan Ward. This might be the best catch of the year, all things considered. It's the David Tyree catch from the Giants Super Bowl, but he uses the other guy's helmet, and it was thrown by safety Chris Banjo. Worst, wide receiver Michael Gallup caught a touchdown pass, a great catch, but it cost him his season. Gallup tore his ACL on the play. Dak Prescott finished this game with 226 passing yards and 3 TDs, and most importantly for the Cardinals, they shut down the Cowboys' run game. It simply did not exist, like a loop in the Matrix, and Zeke and Pollard were held to 25 yards combined, and they got a much-needed win to end their streak of losses. The Cardinals currently have the 5 seed in the NFC, and the Cowboys' loss knocked them to the 4 seed from the 2 seed. Worst, Mike McCarthy not having any timeouts to challenge the Cardinals' fumble at the end of the game. You know the old saying, you can take Mike McCarthy out of Green Bay, but you can't teach that motherfucker to tell time. Panthers versus Saints, worst. Sam Darnold was back in the lineup and didn't play much better than Cam Newton. Just 5 yards per attempt to go with an interception. Basically guaranteeing that Carolina will be in the QB market for the 3rd year in a row. Hopefully they draft a corner to fix that again. Best. Taysom Hill basically looked like Peyton Manning compared to Ian Book on Monday Night Football. Ian Book of Mormon. That's Taysom Hill's new nickname, which I realize is the most confusing nickname I've ever concocted. Vikings versus Packers in the Sunday night finale. Best. The Packers secured home field advantage and a first-round bye with their win against the Vikings sans Kirk Cousins. The Vikings were cousinsless, which means they didn't have family. Just the way Aaron Rodgers likes it.
You like that? You like that?
Yes, Kirk, he does. Green Bay became the first team in NFL history to win 13 games in 3 straight seasons. Worst, the Vikings' offense was close to unwatchable with Sean Mannion at quarterback. Best, Vikings center Garrett Bradbury makes an improbable catch, and Chris Collinsworth is laughing so hard while also hoping Vikings tight end Tyler Conklin isn't seriously hurt. That catch did make Bradbury the Vikings' leading receiver for the night.
250 pounds of man coming right at you.
And one last worst, the Vikings' social media. For this weird shit alone, your franchise deserves 4 more Super Bowl losses. Boom, and that's it for the best and worst of Week 17. The AB video's on the screen right now. If you want to watch that, come back tomorrow. Every Tuesday, I drop my NFL power rankings. And any NFL news that drops, I try to cover it. So please, subscribe to this channel.